What's up guys, it's Eddie, and today I'm going to do a quick comparison between Woodfiller and Spackle and which one's better for using for terrain. And if you watched my last video, I did a quick tutorial on how to make rocks, like alien rocks specifically. Now I use Spackle for this. Spackle, fun word to say, Spackle. Especially when you have a southern accent like me, like Spackle, woo, man, tell you. Now this is the Spackle I use. It's much better quality Spackle out there, but this is what I used. It's okay, it doesn't do the best. Typically have had better results with a higher grade of Spackle, but I didn't really feel like it was worth going out and potentially getting exposed to what's going on right now, just so I can get a better quality Spackle when I know dang well that I can use this. I just need a little more work. Now what you're seeing right now is just a really quick, kind of rough video on me making these things. I'm not gonna go through the tutorial on how to make it. It's basically the same tutorial from the alien rock. If you want to know how to make this stuff, you can go back to that previous video. I'll put a link here. I tell you, at a certain point, I'll say you can stop right here if you just want regular looking rocks. That's where I did. That's all I did was stop. Here's the results, the finished product of the two. But normally when I have the higher grade Spackle, it'll come out pretty similar. So I'm basically also going to be using my experience because I have been using Spackle for a long time. But someone recently told me I need to switch over to Woodfiller. I decided I would try and do a comparison between. I said, why not do a video? Now, because of my lack of experience from using Woodfiller, I'm only going to base this off of this one type, this one brand that I'm using right now. Maybe it's not really a fair comparison, but that's all I have to work off of. I'm going to be comparing these two in 5 different categories. How easy it is to use, how easy it is to mold and work with, the cost, the dry time, and which one just looks better. Now, as far as how easy it is to use, that really is a comparison. I do find that Spackle is easier to kind of work with and push around. It takes a little longer to dry, so you do have more time to work with. Yes, I use this for rocks, and it's not exactly the best looking for, but I think depending on the project itself, you can use Spackle for lots of things as well as the Woodfiller. You know, it takes longer to dry, so you have more time to craft and mold and work with it, which brings me to that second one, which is how easy it is to mold and craft, which I think Spackle is easier to work with as well, because it does take a little longer. Now, you can get fast drying Spackle. When you do that, you're definitely raising your cost, and then I really don't know that it's worth it at that point. If you might as well just get the Woodfiller. It dries fast anyway, and it's cheaper at that point. Now, the cost between the two, specifically these two brands right here, you're gonna get more for your value for paying for this monster, right? But of course, you know, you're gonna get what you pay for. There are higher quality Spackle, like I already mentioned, that you're gonna pay more for, and at that point, you're pretty much coming about even from my experience. Now, of course, you know, once you're doing this stuff on the cheap and trying to save as much money as you can, you know, working with the cheaper Spackle and getting that such large supply. I've had this for quite some time, probably 7-8 months, and I haven't used a ton of it. As long as you keep it really tight and sealed, you're pushing down really hard on all the way around and make sure it's really good and sealed. And make sure you keep any kind of crud or any of that drying Spackle away from the edges so that your lid will close really good and nice. And as long as you're doing that, it'll last you for a while. The same goes for the Woodfiller. It is definitely a resealable container. And this stuff is a lot grainier, and it's a little difficult to get it to stick to places. It tended to stick more to my fingers than it did to the actual terrain I was working with. So it took a little more effort to get it to kind of come off and go where I want it to go. Now, that brings me to dry time. Of course, the dry time is going to be a lot faster on this Woodfiller. Now, like I say, I don't know about other brands. I really can only attest to what I was using. There wasn't a lot of options here. There's another pro for Spackle, at least in my area. There's just so many different brands and types and quick dry, and there's even a kind that's like pink and it turns white when it's dry, so you know it's drying. But all of those, except for the quick dry stuff, takes a while to dry. This stuff was really quick. It was drying on my fingers as I was trying to put it on, which might attest for some of my problems with working with it and trying to get it to go on. Now, of course, as long as you're willing to do that, I have no problem with it. I definitely like the way the rocks look on this. It is very cool. I even used it for the basing on this. Now, you can't really tell too much because I covered it with some static grass, but it does work out really well. Kind of like that rocky ground look on your bases. I would definitely be using this stuff more in the future. Just the fact that it dries so fast is a big pro in terrain making. A lot of times I get a lot of downtime just waiting on things to dry between the Spackle and the paint and the spray paint. I'll be working on 3-4 projects at a time, just kind of switching back and forth, and not really necessarily needing to do the other stuff, but I don't want to have just me sitting around waiting. This stuff dries so quick that it alleviates some of your downtime, and you can actually just work on more terrain and have a much quicker turnover as far as what you can put out. Now that leads me to the last category, which is which one just simply looks better. Now, it's hard to say that based off of just this, right? Because this is a lower quality spackle, and it doesn't quite do what I want it to do for this rocky look that this one creates. So of course, between these two, this looks way better. It's just amazing. And the fact of the matter was, this was way simpler to work with than it was for this, because this took a lot of work to get it to even look this good, because this is a lower quality. Now, I do have a piece where I worked on before. It's not quite a rock. This right here, this was the higher quality spackle, and you can kind of, I hope you can see this rocky look to it. This was nothing to it. It's the same concept as this. I just put it on and let it dry, and it came out like this. This took coats and coats and trying to get it to work and trying to get rid of these weird designs and curves and stuff, which works perfectly for that alien rock from the first video, because you want that. But when you're trying to have that rocky look, it doesn't work that well for it. It takes a lot of work just to get it to look like this. But this, on the other hand, is different. This was something I was just kind of piddling around with, trying to make some really quick modular terrain for like D&D. This was like a dungeon wall, and you could just kind of build the dungeon how you wanted to. And I had some floor pieces too. It's big long. But something I did really quick because we needed it one day, and I just put it together. You see that though? You can see that base, that rocky look in here. At least I hope you can. And this is it, right? There's no work to that. But between those two, I still have to say the Woodfiller came out to look a lot better. And one giant bonus is this is a lot lighter, and it dried a lot faster. So I can get this thing put together, dried, painted in a much quicker time frame than it takes to make this or even this, right? Because the dry time was insane on these things. So going forward, even with the better quality spackle, I have to say I'm probably gonna stick more to the Woodfiller. Anyway, that kind of leads me to the next part, which is the terrain giveaway. Yes, I will be giving these two pieces of terrain away to one lucky viewer. All you have to do to win this terrain is to like and subscribe to my channel, as well as leave a comment down below telling which one you liked, whether the Woodfiller or the spackle. And once again, I will send this terrain to anywhere in the world for free, so don't be afraid. Go ahead and leave me a comment. Oh, and by the way, there's no limit on how many times you can enter. You can give me 60 different comments saying that you prefer spackle over the other one, and you have 60 chances to win. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. If you did like this video or got any value from it, please give me a thumbs up. This type of videos you do like working on terrain, please give me a subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos and any future chances to win free terrain. Have a good night.